Corbin Kaufusi about Bronson and the late night conversations they're apparently having with no regard to each other's sleep schedule. That's just one part of our one-on-one BYU Sports Nation All Access with Corbin Kaufusi. Corbin, midweek, you're looking to Wisconsin now, and you may have noticed they have one of the premier running backs in the country. So what's the game plan to stop Jonathan Taylor in that Wisconsin rushing attack?
I think for us the biggest thing is going to be just being stout. This is where, D linemen can show what they're made of. This is your shot. You're on the big screen against probably the best rushing team in college football right now, and so it's going to be great for us to kind of just buck up and hit them.
What did their offensive linemen do to make his job as a running back easier?
Their offensive line, they're all big freaks. We have Austin Hoyt, and they have 5 Austin Hoyts. They got big dudes that can move, and so they know where they're going, and they're strong enough to get where they're going.
What did you learn from last year's game against Wisconsin that will help you this go around?
I think the biggest thing for me is you gotta be hard nosed. This is hard nosed running football. And so you just got to smack him in the face. You got to sacrifice your body, do whatever you got to do to hit the guy and stop the momentum.
Oh, there's a football. Trying to kick Corbin. Okay, let's take that ideology with going against the big boys. And, I mean, is there anything you can implement that's different than what you've done to slow them down? Like, how much do you change the scheme?
The scheme, there's a couple things you can do, alignment differences and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that you're mentally and physically ready to just, go one-on-one with someone, just man against man.
So if it's man-on-man, how do you stack up as a defensive line against 5 Austin Hoyt-type offensive linemen?
I think we can do it. I think we got the guys to do it. It's just we're all going to have to be on our game. If one of us starts to waver a little bit, it's kind of the whole thing. The whole D-line can slowly move because, it's 5-on-4 or 6-on-4 or 7-on-4 with the tight ends and whatnot. And so we just all have to be dialed in.
Now you have, correct me if I'm wrong, the lone sack on the season. It came against Arizona on Khalil Tate. How do you improve the pass rush against a run-heavy team?
I think it's learning when they're going to pass, because it's easy to get in the mindset of, oh, if they're a run-heavy team, I'm going to widen my stance. I'm going to be ready for them to fire off. But you don't want that kind of a stance when you're in a pass. And so recognizing through film work and whatnot, what they do differently when it's pass, so that when they go to pass, we know and we can have a jump on it.
How do you feel about playing at Camp Randall Stadium in one of the premier venues and environments for all of college football?
Oh, I'm so excited. I love these big venues, especially, to be honest, I love when we play at another big team's place, because that's where you feel the energy. There's a lot of negative energy. People are like, oh, everyone's against you, and that's where you got to shine the most.
Well, the last time you were a double-digit underdog was in Arizona, and it worked out well. It's the same case this week against Wisconsin. How much do you utilize the experts and what they project happening to motivate you?
For me, I don't even know what they're saying. People will tell me, but it's just kind of like, oh, whatever. I know who's with me and who's not with me, and that's all I care about. So, every now and again I hear it, but to be honest, I don't hear much about it.
How have the frustrations from the Cal game affected your preparation for Wisconsin this week?
I think there's a big difference between, letting a game get to you and staying down, and then letting it motivate you. And I think a lot of the team is realizing that, that was definitely a winnable game for us. There was a lot we could do, but hats off to Cal for doing it. But we got to use that as a momentum builder, not kind of a stopper. We can't let that stop what we can do. And so a lot of it is, there's a lot of frustrations and whatnot, but it's trying to put it in the right direction.
It's always interesting to think about the coaching approach when you deal with adversity. You've played under a few staffs. What was the coaching approach like this week, coming off of a loss in that first real adversity in this season?
I think it was really good, because Coach Kalani, he's great about, he knows that we all care a lot. Everyone on the team is competitive to the bone. Everyone just wants to fight to the bone. But when you lose a game that you could have won, that's when it strikes, and you're either going to go up from it or you're going to let it bring you down. And so Kalani's always trying to be like, hey, that was a hard game, and we could have won that, but we need to keep moving. We got to keep the ball rolling. There's a lot more we can do. And so trying to stay positive, but at the same time letting it motivate you, is kind of where he stands.
What's the biggest change or thing that the defensive line needs to work on and get better at right now?
Right now, I think for us, it's, that's such a, I would just say winning your one-on-ones. That's a big thing for us, whether it's pass or run. You know, if it's pass, winning the one-on-one is going to get you the sack, or it's going to get you the flush from the quarterback. But same thing with runs. You know, you just got to be able to take on the dude across from you. And a lot of times we're getting double teams and whatnot, but it's just learning to deal with those.
Have you talked to your brother lately? And if so, how's he feeling about the transition to New York?
You know, he's loving it. He loves it over there. He says they practiced a similar style when he was here, and so he's fitting right in. And so it's great to hear that he just keeps playing the game he loves. So I love it.
Yeah, how do you help him manage all of that? Because I know you guys help each other mentally and process things. What are those conversations like?
They're long, and they're at all hours of the day. Like literally, what was it? 2 days ago, he FaceTimed me at like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, and I just was like, "What's up, dude?" And but the thing is, it's not one of those things where it's like, "Oh, I'm obligated to answer." It's my brother. I'm his biggest fan, and we cheer for each other. So it's great to talk to him. And more than anything, like, of course, you want to ask how football's going, but it's just talking to him, see how he's doing. You know, making sure that he's okay, and if he wants to vent, I'm the guy you can vent to, and same with him.
What do you do aside from football to get in a good mindset and remain positive and just kind of, I guess, decompress from football?
I think first off, I say the biggest example was my dad. He was so great at that. You know, he was a coach for 20 plus years, but the game never came home with him. Like, and it was the craziest thing, crazy losses, whatnot, super frustrating games. I remember as a kid, he'd come home and he's dad. And so having him as an example is huge. And it just reminds me that football is just a sport that we love, but then again, it's still just a sport. And so you've got to have a bigger perspective of what's going on around you.
Corbin, I know you love to dance. In Madison, they have a tradition between the third and fourth quarters where they play House of Pain, Jump Around. Are you gonna jump around when the music starts blaring?
Hey, I hope our whole team is jumping around, because that's what we do. You know, you gotta feel the hype and you gotta go with it. So I'm excited. When I heard about that, I was like, yes. You know, get the whole team, the whole sideline going. It'll be fun.
Right on, man. Let's give you some BYU Sports Nation karma for Wisconsin.
Wait, what was that?
Sorry. I said let's give you some BYU Sports Nation karma boost to Corbin Kaufusi.
Thank you. You know, we're gonna win.
Thanks, Corbin.
Thank you.
Corbin Kaufusi, one-on-one BYU.